Okay, welcome back to the R&D podcast, now sponsored by Cabernet Sauvignon.
Actually, I got a special treat here for all you Scotch fans. The IPA aged bottle. So we'll be tapping into that shortly.
Yeah, we're drinking ourselves to sleep after a market crash. But we're back on the old DraftKings and the old MMA betting for probably, in my opinion, just one of the greatest cards of all time. Jessica Eye and Cynthia Calvillo, who formerly worked at the Cheesecake Factory. Shout out to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes, very nice.
They have great cheesecakes. So let's get right into this before this gets off the rails quick to the greatest card.
Should we start at the bottom?
Yeah, we're gonna start at the bottom.
Yeah,
it's all about it.
I give my notes here.
Oh, he's got notes. Imagine having notes and not just going off gut feeling when you're betting real American dollars.
Yeah, no Bulgarian dollars this week.
In fact, you might want to bet Bulgarian dollars. They might be worth more than American dollars in about 5 days, but hey, here we go. Anthony Ivy and Christian Aguilera, which tell me when you looked at that name, you did not think that Christina Aguilera was fighting in the UFC, because I did.
Actually, I had a hard time finding his videos because outside of Fight Pass, it's all Christina Aguilera like throwing a punch at Gwen Stefani or something, or all the headlines that come up.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to take too much time in this fight and waste your time, because my time was certainly wasted just continuously watching Christina Aguilera videos, trying to research these guys. But Anthony Ivy is a champion of his former federation, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, I actually blanking. What was it? He was a champion. He was supposed to fight like
WXC or something.
I thought he fought in Combate, but anyways,
it's WXC is where he was fighting. It was mostly Fury FC, the Road or whatever. But the last fight he had was just WXC.
Okay, so he's coming in. He was actually supposed to be a late replacement. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
So the narrative here.
He's going to replace Heinisch and fight Mearshart.
Yeah, and he was going to fight Mearshart. The narrative here is probably this guy's pretty fight ready. Like, my guess is that they've had him on tap for a while. I mean, in comparison to Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, but how long can you stay peak though? That's the thing. It's like,
yeah, that's a good point. But I think both these guys. One thing I saw is that the cardio wasn't bad on either guy. I think that Anthony Ivy certainly has a more diverse game. He can wrestle. He can strike. It's none of it. Like, this is a low level fight, but I think outside of clipping Anthony Ivy, I think Aguilera is definitely the rightful dog in this fight.
Yeah, so the only thing I noticed was that Christina Aguilera, like, essentially will only shoot takedowns, and that's it. He refuses to strike. Like, he doesn't have a striking game on the feet. He'll be like this and like hanging around and poking, and he's just like biding his time to catch his breath, and then he's going back down. But he looked like a bull. Like, he's big up on top, and I think his whole game is takedowns, control, posture, and like small punches. I didn't see crazy volume. I didn't see good punches landed, but he controls fights. Like, he'll hold guys down, and it looks good. The thing that I saw with Ivy is he also does it. He looks real sloppy. He does everything.
That's what sloppy. I saw a lot of slop.
But he also gives up a lot of positions. Like, there's times where he's like inside control, and then the next thing you know, he's like upside down on his back, and you're like, "How did you get here?"
Well, it's fight IQ, and that's one thing that I worry about here, especially a fighter that's minus 190. He started about minus 240, if I remember correctly, 230 minus 230. It's been bet down. So the action is moving in favor of Aguilera. So whenever we see that kind of a line movement, especially on a low-level fight like this, from a Vegas standpoint, there's definitely value on the dog. And at 7,200, Just to give everybody a recap, we usually play about 20 lineups. I'm actually in this card more interested in one lineup. So I am going to kind of talk about things from a one lineup perspective because I don't think this is a great card to do 20, just because it's a lot of unknowns. But for one lineup, I think Aguilera is certainly in play as a dog, because I think if he wins, like, you were kind of saying he could perhaps get top position, perhaps get a finish just because this is such a low-level fight.
Yeah, I think the concern is, like, in my mind, I think that Anthony Ivy is like a wannabe takedown guy, and he does it just because he has such long reach. He can, like, get out there and touch you and start working to, like, pull you in. And I think that Christina Aguilera is like a guy who all he knows how to do is takedowns. So in that scenario, I favor the guy who only does takedowns versus the guy who's mixing it up a little bit to get it to the ground. So if he gets 3 takedowns, like 1 per round, and how many shots does he land from there? Because he puts his head on their chest, like he's buried in deep, and he's just throwing to, like, the ribs more or less, and he'll come up once in a while. He doesn't really advance position, like he just hangs out. I don't think he's going to score super well. I think 15 points for five per round, plus another, like, what's he land, 30 punches maybe if you're lucky. I don't think he's going to land 90 punches on the ground.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Personally, this is a little bit of a dog or pass fight for me because I don't see Anthony Ivy running over Christina Aguilera.
No, and also, when's the last time this guy got finished?
Right, and I mean, again, it's hard when we haven't seen anything but shaky hand footage.
Bad example. He got finished in LFA 59. He got TKO'd. I didn't see it. It was in 2019. So, I mean, he has been stopped. He got KO'd in 17. But I don't know.
He's been KO'd multiple times.
Terrible. Yeah, terrible color. But from what I saw, like, I just think that, to me, it looked like Aguilera was, like, a more polished fighter. Even if he can't strike and is only
well, Anthony Ivy is sloppy. I mean, that's
what I noticed, and yeah. I think some of those big kicks and big actions are going to leave him wide open to get taken down.
That's probably a good call. Let's move on to the next fight, which I'm much more comfortable breaking down. Griffin against Minner or Minner. Minner is really like a first round, like, submission guy. Like,
yeah, he's a weirdo, man.
Yeah, if he can submit you in the first round,
yeah,
he can win.
He tires himself out.
But he's terrible. So he's really not a good fighter at all. And I think Griffin has pretty much every advantage on the feet. And this is basically, moved. This line has started at minus 230 Jordan Griffin, and it's moved to minus 171. I think a lot of that has to do with, like, if Minner wins, it's probably a first round sub.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but this is just, like, it to me, like, I don't see Minner as some otherworldly grappler. I think that
you remember, like, Manny Bermudez,
yeah.
The Bermuda Triangle, when he first showed up on the scene and he was just taking people out, like standing triangle chokes and stuff, like things like, they didn't have a name for it. Some of the stuff he did, like inverted reverse triangles and stuff. I don't see that on Derek Minner. I see a guy who just squeezes as hard as he can, gasses himself out, and then looks exhausted at, like, a minute left in the first round.
Yeah, and in terms of striking, like, this is to me a great opportunity to get Jordan Griffin, because I think people are going to look at Jordan Griffin and say, okay, he's 18-7. He's never scored more than 78 points in a fight. How much upside does he really have? And I really think he just stopped Derek Minner.
So I looked at this, and if you watch when he fights Grant Dawson, who's, like, a pretty powerful guy, he just tries to suck him out. Like, he's trying to, like, guillotine him and choke him just while he's on his back, like, not even in full guard. And he does good. Like, he squeezes, and Dawson turns a little pink once in a while, but he never finishes him. And besides that, you see he lost to Herbert Burns, my man Herbert. He got subbed. But this guy, like, all of his fights, it's like he either wins or loses by submission. It's, like, literally, like, 9 of 12 of 15. It's all win or lose by submission. So I think it's no secret what he's going to try to do. The scary thing, though, is that when Griffin was fighting against TJ Brown, TJ Brown looks like basically just like a gym wrestler. All he wants to do is get down there, sniff crotches, hold the knees. Like he's trying to be Khabib, but he doesn't have any power to punch with. He held him down. Like Jordan Griffin did not look good at all until like late in the second round when he was able to choke him out while he was being held down. But if that fight continued and that choke didn't land, Jordan Griffin probably would have lost. And he would have lost like essentially a guy I've never heard of just due to wrestling. So I'm a little concerned about the wrestling. It didn't look bad. Like he was doing the frames, he was doing the right moves to stand up, put his back in the cage. It wasn't terrible, but he also was accepting it to happen. Like he allowed it to happen, and he just kept like trying to get up and then go back down. Try to get up, go back down. So I'm concerned a lot about this one. I think Derek Minner could win with a sub, but I also think Jordan Griffin's too smart to let that happen. I think it could be really bad scoring. It could be like, Griffin winning with just like a few shots while he's like half on his back.
Interesting. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Tyson Nam versus Aruch Adeshev.
Yes. This is an exciting
Yeah, we're
one.
both. Yeah. Well, exciting if you're Aruch Adeshev better, I think.
Not if you're sitting next to the Tyson Nam family in the Las Vegas arena.
Right, because I think we're both going to be heavily on Aruch Adeshev here.
Yeah, big time. So Aruch, he's a late notice fill-in. Ryan Benoit was going to fight Tyson Nam. That was going to be like kind of interesting from a like low-level UFC like eliminator match. Like probably whoever loses that is fired or not welcome back. But so Benoit gets hurt or like some undisclosed injury, and they say, okay, Tyson Nam, no problem. We're bringing in the heat. Aruch Adeshev is coming for you. So I think this is just like Tyson Nam, you're out of the UFC. Because Aruch was in Bellator. He had 3 fights in Bellator. He won all 3, 2 by TKO in the first and second round, 1 by decision. And it looked pretty good. He looks like a really, really strong wrestler. He's the guy I saw him fight. I was watching this against Tevan Dice. He lifted him up under his chest and just lifted him up. So his feet were dangling behind him, and he was just holding him there, like leaning back comfortably. And then he slams him, and like he's all over the place on the ground. He punches with like bad intentions. He's trying to hurt people. The wrestling and defense looks good. Tyson Nam, meanwhile, is going to be standing back, just trying to double jab, and I think he's going to get smashed.
Yeah, and Tyson Nam, more of a pot shotter. 36, I believe, is his age. He's just not as athletically gifted. He's gonna have a lot of problems here.
Yeah.
So,
I think second round finish, if not sooner.
Yeah, it could be. This seems like a big mismatch to me. I know the newcomer Adeshev, but like when you tape this fight, you don't see.
There's no path to victory.
Yeah, I don't really see. And Adeshev started as a plus 175 dog. As soon as that came out, I hit it. He's still plus. I'm probably going to hit it again just to try to get more action down on it. Because the more I tape it, the more I think Nam is in real trouble here.
The other thing, too, is for DraftKings on there, Adeshev is 7,700. Like, he's one of the lowest price guys on the card because Benoit was the dog.
Yeah. And for me, the fact that he hopefully remains plus in the odds would be a huge opportunity. Because if he stays plus in the odds, I don't think his ownership will get out of control. He might be highly the highest owned dog, but it won't be.
True.
It won't be a situation where we've had in the past couple of weeks where it's like you have some dogs that are just really outrageously owned, which makes things
like minus
difficult.
300. They're minus 300 dogs.
Right. So now you have this, and I think this is a great opportunity for betting and DraftKings.
Yeah, and if you want to stuff your parlays full, like Adeshev could be an awesome piece of that because that'll give you a huge multiplier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
agreed. I might do that later tonight.
In fact, I'm doing it right now because he's minus 105 now.
Is he? It's gone that far?
Yeah, it's not great.
I think the secret's out.
Yeah, I think the secret's out. If you watch this, it's
or if you're one of the 12 people on Bovada betting that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and like this is a true card for degenerates like us, you know. So I think anybody betting this card probably is gonna look for any way out of Tyson Nam shares.
Yeah, I mean, listen, don't take Tyson Nam. That's all I can
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyson Nam is not the guy you want to wager real American dollars on, right? At this point, maybe another currency in the Forex, but I don't know. Not USD.
Yeah, but for sure, Adeshev's going to be awesome. I think the wrestling, the striking is going to be fun, and I think is it still a prelim fight? I mean, that'll be a great one to get things going, like, and especially after the Derek Minner escapades, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, because that fight might just be horrible to watch.
I'm telling you, he's going to get it to the ground no matter how he has to, and he's just going to try to choke for a round, and then he probably gets beat up. But
yeah, could be interesting. But we're going to go to Julia Avila versus Gina Mazzani. So Julia Avila is going to smash here, I think. And I mean, I know that's hashtag analysis, but she's minus 550. Gina's not very good.
First of all, minus 550 is ludicrously high for Julia Avila. It's way too high.
I do agree with that.
She should be like minus 190.
Make the case.
Okay, so the case is she has got one fight in the UFC. Is that right? I'm pulling up her stats here. Gina Mazzani is also like doing better recently, I would say. Let's take a look here. So Avila, yeah, nice bikini photo on Sherdog. Congratulations. She has one fight, Pani Kinzad. She wins a 3-round decision. I watched that. It was fine. It was mostly striking, like boxing-based striking. She looks pretty good. She'll flurry once in a while. She'll charge in and get you up against her, the cage, and she'll unload a little bit. I saw her throw what looked like pretty good power. Like there's a little mustard on some of the shots. And Pani Kinzad wasn't like a total pushover, just not great. Like they're striking, she wins. Before that, she has an Invicta TKO, which is okay. And then she has one loss in her record. So they're looking at this and like, this girl's good. She has a UFC win. And Gina Mazzani sucks. It's more of a downplay on Mazzani. It's why she's minus 500. Mazzani got kicked out of the UFC after back-to-back losses. And the one against Lena Landsberg was like egregious. Like she looked terrible. Then she fights Kiesan, who TKOs her in the first round and just drops her.
But I mean, Kiesan's beast a little bit.
And I think they're just feeding Kiesan to build like a title shot track record. So they kick her out. She wins against Valerie Barney, who is like this Irish chick who's like 41 or 43 years old.
Yeah, first not a great win.
Surprise, surprise. So now she has credentials to be back in the UFC and fight a new up-and-comer. So it's like, okay, the table's been set. You're going to get beat up by the new up-and-comer. The question is how bad? Are you going to go out in the first, or is it going to take 3? I prefer to think that it's probably going to be a 3-round decision. I don't think she's going to knock Mazzani out, but if she does corner on the cage and start corking on her, it's totally possible that they could stop.
Yeah, and totally possible that Gina kind of gives it up there.
Yeah. Now, first round, I don't know. I didn't see from Julia like the will to like rush out and start pounding on the last was it Pani Kinzad. I didn't see that at all. I saw like very measured approach. Like it was more like if she like a missed kick or like some kind of like a feint, and then she'd come in and throw 3, 4, 5 up against the cage. She doesn't like chase or run her down, but I think she's going to fight smart. And if she sees her get hurt, she'll go in there and try to finish her. But again, it's not like earth-shattering power. There's no like Mackenzie Dern submission game. She's basically a boxer.
Yeah.
Is that minus 500? No way.
I think she definitely deserves to be a big favorite. Yeah, but minus 500 in this level of a fight is steep.
Also, Gina Mazzani has shown that she has trouble with the ground. Like against Landsberg and that, like, she can't do well in the cage at all. And I don't think Avila is going to try to push her on the cage. I think Avila mostly wants to strike with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think Avila is going to probably smash in this fight, but at the same time, Like, what does that mean for DraftKings? 9,300 is a huge price tag. You're going to need a big score to pay that off, especially in a tournament. I'm probably not going to have a huge exposure to her, but and it's hard to put her as a parlay piece. So this is kind of one of those situations where, like, where's the value? You know,
the value is like she probably should win, and she has multiple ways to win. Like she could definitely knock out Mazzani because we saw Chiesa do it with just like one punch. She dropped her, and I don't think that was special Chiesa power. I think it was like Mazzani's worn out. She's got not even that many fights, but like she just seems like she's beat. So I mean, she could get tired, she could get taken down, she could get cage wrestled, she could get beat up in the face. I mean, there's ways that Avia can win. More ways for Avia than Mazzani.
Of course. Well, we've already spent too much time on this fight. We're going to go to the next one.
We said that once before and we're wrong, though. And then Chikazian hosed us.
Who hosed us?
Chikagian.
Oh, yeah, Chikagian. Yeah. She totally killed us.
Sleeper. Yeah, that's what we got to look at them all through the lens of alcohol and butter.
Yeah. Mazzani bucks. Maybe we can win some Chikagian bucks here.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that you should bet on Mazzani. I think her time is done. The highlight of her career was finishing Valerie Barney, the 41-year-old Irish lady, in the first round. She should have just stopped there. In truth, I think they just pulled her out of like essentially retirement or obscurity to fill a seat. Like they needed an American who was in America to come fight. We're trapped here. Like
and wants to get beat the shit beat out of her. So
for God knows what reason.
Yeah, they probably gave her.
I think it's a feeder for Avia. So I think Avia probably scores okay. If she was like 8,800, something like that, I'd probably be all over it. But at 93, I think there's more interesting stuff.
Yeah,
there's more interesting stuff ahead.
And because I don't have a huge love affair with dogs in this card, at least me personally, there's not a lot of. Well, we'll get into it, but.
Did you look at Mazzani's scores too? Like, this is horrible play. She scored 77 best.
Yeah, ever. But again, Avia, is she gonna be hungry enough to finish to pay off her tag? That's I think our question.
And she doesn't really do takedowns, so I've seen it before when Irene Aldana threw like a perfect fight, had like 100 punches thrown. And you get the score, and you're like, "Why is it so bad on DraftKings? Like, it looks amazing. It's like crisp boxing, and you're just pounding. It's like very nice.
And it's not even a close fight at all. It's not a close fight at all. But there's not enough dynamic things happening in the fight.
Yeah. So I think and if she does finish in the first round like immediately, it's probably super immediate. I don't think it's at 4 minutes and 28 seconds. So if it's super immediate, she's going to score 90, and then you got to hope that there's another 15 significant strikes before that. I don't know. It's a little dicey.
Agreed. I'm not on it. Let's go to Aguilar and Rosa.
Yes, this was the only fight we talked about this week before the is this a pod or what? Is it a podcast? A video?
It's the YouTubes. It's the YouTubes. We're on the YouTubes. We're sponsored by Cabernet Sauvignon.
And also Glenfiddich IPA in a Glen Morangi glass. Get a load of that.
Yeah, double sponsorship. But okay, so Rosa is the guy that burned you. And listen, I think Aguilar has shown to have possible cracks in his chin.
That was my sleeper take.
Yes, and you brought that up, and I watched it, and that's probably an accurate and fair assessment. So I'll give you shout out to you, shout out to Glenn,
yes,
shout out to Reputed G.
I need those shout outs. That's how I get subscribers.
That you kind of pointed out the Aguilar chin, or the chin crack.
It's Aguilar.
Aguilar.
The Cabernet's
kicking in. So I think that he wins a stand-up fight when I look at their stand-up, because Rosa's stand-up sucks.
Yeah.
It's very wild punches.
It's like wild power shots.
So Rosa's best part of his game is his submissions off of his back, because he's kind of like a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but then we saw Bryce Mitchell just absolutely torture him on the ground.
Yeah.
So, and he had no answer for really, I mean, listen, if you're a high-level black belt, you understand the truck, you understand the twister, you understand how these positions are set up, and he had no answer for them. I mean, if you're a high-level submission grappler, you're definitely going against 10th Planet guys. You understand these positions. You understand what you have to do, and he just kept getting he got absolutely destroyed by Bryce.
Man.
Yeah,
it looked bad.
He got destroyed. And it wasn't because Bryce Mitchell is necessarily stronger than him or just more in shape. It was Bryce Mitchell was just flat levels above him in jiu-jitsu. And this guy, talked a lot of shit about his jiu-jitsu.
Bryce Mitchell was striking while doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I think Charles Rosa threw like 5 punches in the whole fight or something. It was like,
it was a bad fight for him. It really, and then you go back and you start to look at Charles Rosa's fights with more of a scrutinous eye, and you start to see, he's just not that high level of a guy.
Well, here's the whole problem with this guy. He fights Manny Bermudez, who I really like and is no longer in the
we
UFC.
like him. We like him.
He's awesome to watch if you're a jiu-jitsu fan. You watch his old fights; they're cool. Like there's really, really cool stuff he does in there. So
high level, yeah.
He fights against Charles Rosa. Manny Bermudez keeps going in, and he triangles Manny Bermudez, which to me seems like almost impossible to let that happen. And he almost was in it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, he just kept going in, kept going in.
Which I don't know why he did that. And so then I'm wondering, like, well, maybe Rosa's game is that good. Like, he's tapping out Manny Bermudez. So that's why I said, well, if he's tapping out Bermudez and just like a triangle, he must be able to beat the hillbilly Bryce Mitchell, right? Like,
it must be a legitimate black belt.
Turns out Manny Bermudez didn't have his coffee or something and just wasn't having a good day. But then before that, the worst part though is that when he loses to Shane Burgos, who again is like super entertaining boxer only, like a really fun kind of boxer.
Love Shane Burgos.
Yeah, awesome fighter to watch. He fights him and he exclusively strikes. So it's like Charles Rosa is like, I'm going to just fight you wherever you're strongest, no matter what, every time. Like,
and I'm going to lose.
Manny, let's go jits it up, and maybe I'll get lucky. While he's getting smashed in the face, he catches a triangle. Then, against Shane Burgos, you go 3 rounds, and finally he drops him in the 3rd. And he's just, wailing, these crazy, telegraph shots, and, like the Yair Rodriguez switch kick. He's throwing this stuff, and it's the fans in the 200 level can see it coming before it's coming out there, right? And so Shane just continuously works him, and it looked like when he was hitting Shane, it just didn't look like he was hurting him either. There's the punches and stuff hit him, and Shane just was like whatever, and kept going. So it's like, okay, maybe your power isn't all that high, and maybe you're just throwing big, expensive movements and missing a lot. And when you do land one, they're so infrequent, it doesn't even phase a guy. So now you're coming in to fight Kevin Aguilar. Kevin Aguilar looks like a super crisp boxer. He's mean.
He's good.
He's got good frames in the jiu-jitsu. He looks good all around. He's super well-rounded. He's sharp. He just came off a bad fight against Dan Iggy. It actually was a good fight in a lot of ways because he was competitive with Dan Iggy, I thought.
Yeah, and we both have a ton of respect for Iggy.
Yeah. So I like that he had a 3-round decision. He didn't get finished by Iggy, so it's that's good. And there were times where he messed Iggy up a little bit too. It was pretty good fight. But Iggy dropped him with a punch in the 1st round, and his legs went out and he dropped down and he recovered. But then in his last fight, when he fights, I do you know his name?
Zubaira. Zubaira is the guy that punched Conor McGregor, blindsided Conor McGregor in the Khabib fight. If you remember Zubaira, I think that's the same guy.
So he just one-shots my boy Aguilar here, and it's it didn't look amazing. It wasn't loaded up. It wasn't this crisp chin button push. I mean, he just comes over. I think it was the left. He hits him, and you see Aguilar goes down, and it's over real fast. And so I'm saying, okay, in the last 2 fights, he's looked a little different. There were times where you'd see him get beat hard, and he'd just still be there. And now I see him going down. So I'm worried with Charles Rosa with all these wild power strikes. It's the only thing he throws, and he's not going to try to take Aguilar down, I don't think. I worry that one of those hits him and Aguilar just drops, and then Rosa like like comes over and does like a TKO finish, and Aguilar's just like, fuck, my chin's going. So I don't want to be the guy riding Aguilar when his chin drops in the first round, but I also don't want to be the guy on Rosa because I think Rosa's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just the real conundrum of our time because
this is the hardest fight for me to pick on the whole card.
I think so too because again, Zubaira knocks you out, and Zubaira couldn't knock Conor out when Conor wasn't even looking with bare knuckles. So no, that's not real analysis, but the truth is I think Aguilar wins. I think he wins it on the feet. I don't think he finishes Rosa. Rosa's a pretty tough guy. And I don't think he got a lot of points. I think this is a fight you can't avoid.
Well, so if you're walking through it, you say, how's the fight go? They're going to come out there. Rosa's going to throw wild, blatantly obvious power shots, missing like 60, 70% of them. And Aguilar's going to come out and just basically like throw crisp boxing strikes back at him. It's just if he gets clipped.
If he gets clipped, and the other thing too that is dangerous about Rosa, if he gets clipped, Rosa could jump on a neck or something. I'm sure that he's got enough jiu-jitsu for that.
He's mastered the rear naked choke, like the Macarena, baby.
Yeah. All right, so that's the take. That's our pick.
It's hard, yeah.
That's our pick. Moving on. We don't want that one on paper.
I don't like. I mean, it's hard to pick.
I'm on Aguilar.
Why can't you say his name?
Aguilar.
Yeah. So the thing is, like,
I'm not on him for DraftKings. I'm not. This is not a single entry play for DraftKings. I don't think.
Yeah, if he wins a striking decision, he's not going to score that well.
No. If you're on Rosa, you could play him. If you think Rosa's going to win, you can play him.
There's two like crazy GPP plays here, and that's Rosa and Minner, because either guy could potentially win in the first round.
Cyphers is not a crazy GPP play against Agapova. I'm trying to troll you a little bit, but
yeah,
dude, Cyphers even gonna weigh in for this fight? Like this, dude, what is going on? Why is she fighting these girls that are so much bigger than her?
This one's pretty lanky, and Cyphers is probably too small for the weight class.
Yeah.
Like she's shorter than almost everyone she fights. She could go to atom weight, or if they had something smaller. But I don't think people want to watch that either. Like,
no,
I don't think people want to watch like 95 pounders like rolling around. I don't know. Maybe it could be okay. I don't think I've ever seen it. So Agapova is interesting. She's part of American Top Team. She's 23 years old. And that sounds weird, because she's like kind of an unknown, but I think she's like somehow connected over there because she looks like she's just been hanging out in this gym her whole life. She originally was like a ballerina, I think is what I read, and then she later switched into MMA and like kickboxing and stuff. So they say, "Wow, look at these amazing kicks and stuff," and it's like, okay, fine, let's look at the tape. So if you watch, she was fighting in the amateur or the regional circuit. Her last two fights. They look great on paper.
Yeah.
Like, let's look at this for a second. We got Agapova here. She's fighting in Invicta, which I think Mackenzie Dern came out of there too. We look at this.
Fighters come out of there.
Yeah. Alexa Connors, first round sub. That must be awesome. Well, the Alexa Connors fight, she basically was just like in a striking match, and then this girl went down to the ground. She choked her out. It's over. The TKO in the first round was like the girl was fully conscious and covered up, and it was like the bell rung and she was just covering herself. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, it's like a fake TKO. Was she going to win the fight? Maybe. Like, probably. Was it so dominant that you could guarantee that after one round with a fake TKO? No way. Before that, she loses to Tracy Cortez, and this is the much better fight. Tracy Cortez is like a big step up in competition. Also shorter, like much shorter, and has shorter reach and everything else. And she just stops her in her tracks. It's on the Contender Series, and she just totally stopped her. Like, all of a sudden, it was like Agapova doesn't know how to like defend a takedown. She doesn't know how to like get double underhooks. Like she doesn't know how to turn into somebody, take a leg, and work her way up. Like she doesn't know any of the like technique. I'm not saying she doesn't know anything, but like she doesn't know everything. And in these Invicta fights, it's okay to be sloppy and chase down another girl and punch her 3 times and they give up or they TKO it or whatever. This Tracy Cortez girl was super tough, and she was just like, nope. There weren't that many strikes, but she held her down, worked her, and it was over. So, that being said, if we look at Hannah Cyphers, again, smaller girl, Hannah Cyphers is not necessarily going to like wrestle her, control her body, but she might control her in the cage a little bit. And I think in a striking match, Hannah Cyphers isn't going away. You know, you can punch her once or twice.
Yeah,
I don't think she's going to cover up backpedal.
Yeah, I think Cyphers ideally wants to be in boxing range. I think it's going to be tough for her. I think Agapova, from what I saw, has good straight punches and good body kicks, and she's going to try to keep her at range. But Cyphers can make it dirty and get inside. The problem is, I think that Agapova is going to be bigger than her, and Cyphers is just too small, and it's always going to be a problem for her. But Cyphers, you know, she's going to try to keep things in boxing range. It's kind of like your range management here. Is Agapova going to be able to manage range? Yeah. I mean, shout out to her Kazakhstan brother, Triple G, fighting out of Kazakhstan, Agapova. But, you know, I think that it's going to be one of these range fights. I don't think Agapova
doesn't have crazy power though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is one of those
clean
where
striking, not clean boxing. It's like kind of wild strikes.
Yeah, it's a little wild. I did see some decent straight punches though. And she's got body kicks. I just wonder if this is going to be a back and forth striking match that doesn't score real well, and I don't see either one of them in danger of getting finished.
Well, yeah, I think probably if anyone gets finished, it's probably Cyphers. But I don't think that Agapova gets finished. I think that Agapova could lose a decision, though.
I agree with that.
Because the first time she got a taste of anything even close to UFC caliber was in the Contender Series, and she got stopped in her tracks. She lost all 3 rounds due to like just grappling. And I think that you look at Hannah Cyphers, she has beaten UFC-ish quality people like Jodie Esquibel, maybe not the best. Polyana Viana is still around. She beat her. But she's also fought Macy Barber, Angela Hill, Mackenzie Dern. It's like she's fought much, much like world-class people. And she's beaten some UFC talent. Agapova's not proven that she can do that yet. And I think it's kind of a big jump to go up here. It's like even though maybe Cyphers has gone the downhill, this is a big jump in quality that you have to face. Because Cyphers still knows what to do. Like, she's not a dummy. She's seen a lot of things that this girl hasn't.
Yeah, and I almost feel like this is one of these fights where I can bet on Cyphers, but I don't necessarily want to take her in my DraftKings lineup. I wish she was just a little bit lower.
Yeah, how much is she? Because I think she could win.
7,500. I mean, if she was 72, 73,
but
you got Minner,
how did she get to 75? Her last win, she scored 70 against Escobar.
My problem is
strikes and a takedown.
My problem is, okay, if I'm making one lineup, this is going to be tough to take her over like Minner, who has the first round finish potential, or even we'll get to Roberson.
Well, if you're going to make one lineup, I mean, it depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to go for the throat, maybe you have a Minner lineup. But I mean, in that fight too, just so clear, I think Griffin's going to win, but there is a way Minner could win in the first round.
Right. Just like here, I think there's a way that Hannah Cyphers can win.
Yeah.
But
she's right. She's never scored more than 74 points, and it's like.
And she's just fighting at the wrong weight class. Like it's just.
It's all there is for her.
Yeah. Well, this is
interesting bet. Maybe a more interesting bet than a DraftKings.
Well, this is flyweight, right?
They're 115 strawweight.
No, it says on the website that this is a flyweight fight.
Sherdog has never been wrong, and it says strawweight.
Women's flyweight belt on UFC.com.
Yeah, I don't know. It could.
Keep an eye on that. I think that matters because Hannah Cyphers is really small as it is. If it is the strawweight 115, That's fine. If it's 125, that's a problem.
It's got ciphers as being 115 on the UFC website.
Right, but the fight itself, this fight taking place is women's flyweight bout.
Right.
Which is 125.
Yeah. Yeah, so if that's the case, Agapova could be way bigger.
Right, and that's because
That's not good for ciphers.
Yeah, ciphers probably comes in at like 122, you know,
if that,
like full on water and everything. So
yeah, and Agapova could be like 135 or 140 or something like. Yeah, that's a good point. We should check when they weigh in, because if it is 115 and ciphers is, let's say, like a natural 115 or close to it, and Agapova is cutting weight to get there, I think Cypher's is still in good shape.
So Cypher's okay there.
The other way, it's like she's losing weight going up.
Yeah, that's tougher for her.
Right.
Anyways, just something to keep an eye on. So keep an eye on that. But we both kind of feel the same way that Cyphers can win that fight. Low scoring for DraftKings, but and then we got to see more from Agapova. We have to see more from Agapova.
Yeah, there's no guarantee she's gonna do anything but walk in, lose 3, and be fired. So, at least from the wrestling capability I saw, there's no way. So, Cyphers could be interesting, but I want to put that near. If you're gonna do the magic parlay with Adeshev, I would not recommend adding Cyphers unless you're doing 2 parlays.
Cyphers is more of a low dollar straight bet type of play,
like 200-300 straight up.
Yeah, 2,000-3,000. By decision. Let's get to the next play, which is Jordan Espinosa versus Mark De La Rosa. De La Rosa. Yeah. So his boxing is pretty basic. I'm talking about De La Rosa's boxing is pretty basic. I think that the small octagon kind of helps him because he's going to be trying to close the distance. Espinosa's got better footwork. Espinosa will switch stances. De La Rosa's a dog a little bit. He's a tough guy. He's gonna fight for your money. More of it.
He's not a UFC fighter though. Like,
no, he's not. Let me finish. Let me finish. Because what I'm gonna say at the end is that Espinosa's his fight IQ and just his overall game is not. He's not like some world beater. He's not some great fighter, but his speed, his lateral movement, his athleticism here is more UFC caliber than Mark De La Rosa, who is, I think, a tough dude that knows a few things, might be able to fight at the barbecue, but he's not necessarily a good enough offensive wrestler to get into his jiu-jitsu game, even though he's a black belt. He's not.
Is he really a black belt?
Yeah, they say, so they say from himself. I think he has his own gym. No.
He has his own gym.
Yeah. So, listen, he doesn't have a lot of power. His boxing is okay.
I actually like his boxing.
It's okay. I mean, he's tough.
He's fighting guys that are always bigger than him, and he doesn't have all the tools.
He's not athletic enough to be at a high level in the UFC.
But if you're just talking fighting from like hips, I guess. Oh, whatever. But if you're just boxing, I think he should just follow up in boxing because his pure boxing, looks really nice. He throws a lot of body shots. He's changing levels. Like, his hands are up. He doubles up on the jab. Like, he's got good stuff.
It's kind of like the guy. It's kind of like the guy studies fighting and owns a gym and knows what he's doing.
Except when it comes to like takedowns, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kicking, he doesn't throw kicks.
No, he doesn't throw kicks.
He doesn't throw elbows. There's no knees. All he does is box. And against Espinosa, I think Espinosa's footwork is crazy. He's all over the place.
A lot of stance switching, a lot of lateral movement. He's going
to be left, right, in zone.
Way more dynamic of a striker.
Also, Mark De La Rosa got knocked out by like some no-name guy, Riva Usa, what was his name? He just in his last fight he got knocked out.
Yeah, Paiva.
Yeah, what's his first name? Riva?
Yeah, it starts. It's I can.
He's like a virtual unknown.
Yeah. He came in, but he's got some hands.
Well, he's a much bigger frame, lankier, and he strikes like in mixed martial arts style. Yeah, he's like a can, man. He has 2 losses, 1 win against De La Rosa. He's not going anywhere. But so, anyways, he fights Mark De La Rosa. He's not good in the first place. He beats Mark De La Rosa with a knockout in the second, and it tells you, it's like, okay, like, this guy's boxing can be the purest thing in the world, and I enjoy watching it, just purely the boxing. It looks beautiful, but it doesn't have any sting,
It
and
doesn't
there's
have enough
nothing to
steam.
mix it up. He can't mix his game up. He's just boxing. He's not throwing kicks. He's not, like, he fainted like he was going for a takedown, and like, even he knew halfway down it wasn't going to happen. He went like this, like halfway down, like, gotcha, and then he was back up.
And that's kind of this fight is very similar, I think, to Paiva fight. Raulian or something is his name, I believe. But
yeah,
Raul, or yeah, he's a dude from Brazil. But where you just have a much more dynamic striker on the other side of De La Rosa, and at some point, Espinosa, I feel like, is going to clip him.
Yeah, and also Espinosa's losses are much better, if that makes any sense. Like, he loses to Matt Schnell, who's been is like a decently well-known jiu-jitsu guy. He loses to Alex Perez, who I think is one of the best in the weight class.
Yeah,
and even if he gets subbed in the first round, it's like.
And I was actually really high on Espinosa before the Schnell fight, to be honest with you.
Well,
I was a big fan. Yeah, and I just like his speed, and he's got some dynamic tools.
I'll tell you what, though, if there was no Eric Shelton fight or no Contender Series fight, and it was just Schnell loss, Perez loss, I'd be much more worried about this fight. But looking at it, I see it's like, okay, like, he's shown that he can actually win a fight. He's won fights at the UFC level before. He fought 2 better guys, one of the best in the weight class, and lost. Okay, now you're fighting one of the worst, who, like, probably they just called in to fill a seat so they can make this fight card in America. And Mark De La Rosa is going to get pounded. The power differential is massive.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Like, the striking power differential is massive. The leg kicks could totally shut down De La Rosa. I mean, like, he's going to have problems. If he gets taken down, we'll see. But I don't think he's subbing Espinosa on Saturday night.
So we're both. That could be the lock of the week, but we'll keep going.
It's not my lock, though, because I am worried that it could be a bad scoring fight again. Because Espinosa's output is not that high. So, I think he has all the tools to smash De La Rosa. But, and maybe not smash, but, like, deconstruct or, like, slowly whittle him down. If you look at Espinosa's scoring in the last couple of fights, it's obviously it's skewed because he got subbed in the first round. But when he fought Shelton, he scored 47 significant strikes in a 3-round decision. That's bad. So if let's say he ups it and he scores 60, that's still really bad. He's going to score like 50 points.
It's still really bad.
It's really bad. Yeah, and that, I mean, so do you want Espinosa? It's almost like it's, as they say, this is like an all or nothing. He's either going to finish this dude in the second round, and people are going to be like, Espinosa's legit, like, let's go. Or he's going to dance around for 3 rounds, win some, like, eked out decision that he probably batters De La Rosa, but on just strikes landed, it's similar. And then they should fire him. If he can't finish De La Rosa, they should fire him.
Interesting take, but yeah, I mean, listen, the weight class, this is, I mean, you got to be exciting in this weight class if you want to.
Wasn't Espinosa ranked too? Did I see that? He was like ranked, or maybe it was before his last fight.
There's not many. Yeah, he's ranked 13 in bantamweight.
How is he ranked with 1 win and 2 losses?
Bantamweight, I don't know.
Dude, is that the weakest weight class, bantam?
Flyer. What is the?
I'm just saying.
No, bantamweight is absolutely not the weakest because we saw Cody Garbrandt. We saw all these killers go nuts over the last weekend. Piotr Jan. That was an amazing finish from Sean O'Malley, and there's a lot of great fighters in that weight class.
But for sure.
But why is he 13?
He's not listed on the UFC website right now.
Yeah, so that's weird. It just says sort of by his name that he's ranked in flyweight. Sorry. Oh, so is this fight at bantamweight? See, this is weird, man. There's a lot of these
They're doing
fights where
like catch weights almost without telling anyone.
yeah. So yeah, because Espinosa's ranked 13th in flyweight, and there's not a lot of flyweights. I mean, Tim Elliott is ranked 12, which means Brandon Royval is ranked 11, which means Matt Schnell is ranked 10.
Royval said one fight. Like they can't
and he's
fill this
ranked
thing up.
right. So let's keep an eye on that. Wait, is this going to be a bantamweight?
What's
right?
What's it say on the fight?
But I thought De La Rosa is also a.
It says it's going to be bantamweight. This is bantamweight for the fight, and De La Rosa on SureDog, which the most virus-infested website of all time. It says he's a bantamweight, so I wonder if they said Espinosa can fight him at bantamweight.
Weird,
but
because
he's still really small.
De La Rosa fights in the flyweight division too.
We'll have to see what they weigh in at.
Yeah, I still like Espinosa because I know Mark De La Rosa's he's not big.
No, he looks small. And especially once you're all juiced up, like ready to go. 2 Chipotle burritos in you. He's going to be looking big.
Yeah. So
also, somebody should tell De La Rosa, if you're listening, I like your boxing. Your photo on SureDog is just terrible. It's just terrible. It looks like a high school kid who's playing World of Warcraft, like walked out of the shower to take that photo. It's terrible. I picked him out of a crowd just facing that photo.
Most SureDog photos are. I would hate to see ours. Let's move on to the next one. Andre Touchy Filet.
So wait. We're on the same page? No one's on De La Rosa?
Yeah, we love Espinosa.
Right.
Espinosa, Money Train, print it. Okay.
I don't know how else to score, is all I'm saying. So, all you sharp DraftKings guys out there, and maybe depending on pricing, stuff them in.
Listen, if Espinosa can navigate the smaller cage, because I know that De La Rosa is going to want to come in, then
but not really, because he's not trying to like get in the pocket and live there. He's trying to get in, punch the body, come up top and out.
Yeah, but I just think it's too basic. I think that Jordan Espinosa is going to be able to create angles and hurt him on the feet.
Okay, so we're optimistic for an Espinosa early finish.
Maybe not early, but I think he batters him a little bit and cleans him in the second round. I mean, that's pretty optimistic, I would say, but yeah, second or third round finish, I think.
Okay. All right. I'm making an asterisk to reevaluate.
Yeah, just take a look to see if I mean, at least what I saw, I think Espinosa is explosive enough to finish him. So
he's well rounded enough too. The footwork and just the leg kicks alone should be like giving him.
We've seen how devastating. That's another thing I want to bring up too. Guys that can kick, they're utilizing these calf kicks and they're finishing guys.
Yeah.
If you can kick right now,
Chris Gutierrez.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Vince Morales. Alex Perez. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really incredible technique that's being.
Joe Rogan always goes off about it. He's like, how is it took us this long to figure out the calf is where you're supposed to kick instead of the upper gigantic meaty thigh on a man? Like.
Yeah, now guys are kicking knees and kicking calves, and it's just, oh, dude, it's hard to watch. It's like, oh, man.
I love it.
Yeah. Charles Jourdain, Andre Filet.
Yes. Okay, so who do you like?
Okay. Let's talk a little Jourdain first. So he's a solid kickboxer. I think that his kicks are better than his punches. He likes to blitz when he starts throwing hands. But his problem is when he blitzes, he leaves himself open for takedowns. His takedown defense kind of sucks.
There's no open to counter shots too.
Yeah, counter shots. He's 24, so he's still young.
Yeah. Is he from Quebec? I know he's Canadian. I don't know where he's from. Is he another GSP wannabe?
I don't know that for sure, but I know that
I'll answer my own question.
When he's on his back, he can't get up, really.
Yeah.
He struggles.
Do you know what his nickname is? Do you know what his nickname is?
Lay it on me.
Charles Air Jourdain.
You love to see it.
How Canadian. Yeah, he's from Quebec.
Yeah, I mean,
he could be a TriStar guy. I don't know. Academy of Pro Star MMA. I don't know where that is.
So I mean, he's more of a. I think he's more of a point kickboxer type fighter.
Wild too.
Yeah. So File, I've always kind of liked watching just because he's scrappy as hell, and he's got a well-rounded game because he's a veteran. He's been fighting for a long time, and he fights out of Team Alpha Male, and he's been fighting out of there for a while. And he's had fights where he'll look really, really good when he fights behind his jab, and he kind of works the body. I mean, I've seen him do mix up his combinations really well. I think his grappling is pretty good. I think he's one of these guys that's well-rounded.
He's a veteran. He's like a true veteran at this point.
He's really deservedly a favorite. I think that so File, let me pull this up, did lose to Sadiq Youssef, who we're both very high on. Yeah. But in that fight, File mixed everything up really well. I mean, he had takedowns. He threw a lot of volume. I mean, for not a ton of volume, but he threw volume. In the past, he's shown that he can throw volume.
Losing to Sadiq Youssef in a decision is not a bad loss.
No, I don't think so either. He's fought high-level guys, man. So I really like File. I think he's another guy.
Kelvin Qatar, which it feels like yesterday, but it was like, God, we're freaking old. It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Kelvin Qatar.
And it was a good fight.
We're in like a Buffalo Wild Wings screaming at the TV or something.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I remember it was a good fight. But File usually is in pretty good fights. The guys he struggles agains, I think,
Max Holloway, 14.
Yeah, guys. Well, I mean, everyone's going to struggle against Holloway, right? But guys that have stopping power in their hands, I think, and just that are powerful, give File trouble, which I don't see Jourdain as. I like his hands don't scare me. I think File will navigate.
I think the strikes could have a little stink on him, especially the wild ones when he comes charging in and he's whipping his whole body at you. That you don't want to get hit by that. But here's the thing: is like on my notes here, I wrote down for File. I said it just is better everywhere, and
yeah, agreed.
Because when Air Jourdain comes flying in like for the dunk, he's going to come in and File's going to be like pop, 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 and move aside, and it's going to look crisp, and Jourdain's going to go flying away, and there's like 3 shots landed on him. If they want to grapple, I think File is experienced enough at this point. He's not going to get subbed. He's not going to accept like being on the bottom for too long. He knows how to get up. Like he should be able to do everything. And I think Jourdain is just another one of these like weak Canadians that shows up at our doorstep to come fight. And he's going to look flashy. Like who's that big dude? Barrialt? Dude, looks crazy. Like looks like he could break a tree in half if he punched it. Terrible footwork. Like can't hit anyone. I just think it's another one of these guys. They're like really, really low-level regional guys that are coming into the UFC almost. They're not like some of these guys you see coming from big top gyms that are making their debut. I think there's almost no way he could beat File. And I also think File's one of these guys that because he mixes it up so well, because I always complain about like if you only land 90 strikes or 100 strikes, is it even worth taking you? I think there's going to be a couple of takedowns, a couple of trips, maybe a back take. Like he's going to rack up points slowly as the fight goes on, and I think he will land strikes. I think he might finish them too.
I think that's a great. I listen, man. I'm a big File guy. I think it's.
I'm not target. Always, but today,
no, I think in this fight, he's, like you said, better everywhere. So how do you not love to jam him in?
I'm jamming him in. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, and I mean at 8,600, that's a jammable salary.
Honestly, I'm surprised.
We can jam that in easy.
How is the line what it is? Like he's minus 235. So that's probably reasonable.
Probably right.
I'm surprised it's not blown up. I'm surprised it's not minus 400. Really.
Right.
I mean, Charles Jourdain. Like half the people betting on this have never heard of Charles Jourdain. It's true. Maybe it's because they were watching the Michael Jordan documentary. They got hot for Air Jourdain. I don't know, but
Well, speaking of blown up lines, let's get on to the next fight, which is
Sure.
Marvin Vettori versus Carl Roberson, which I think this line is a little out of line.
Dude.
I think Marvin Vettori is a good pressure fighter. He's a good boxer. He's a really excellent grappler, even though he's a brown belt. He's a good grappler.
He's gotten better over the last couple of fights.
He can pressure. He can wrestle. He can, he's got a good top game. But there's a few little things in this fight that I see as like this line doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because it's going to start standing. And Roberson has a piston left hand. He's got a really nice straight left.
I'm going to hear that for the rest of my life because that one write-up you showed me about Henry Cejudo's got a piston left hand. He's just pumping it.
Piston right hand. It was the right hand. But Roberson has a nice straight
piston.
Left.
He's got a piston.
He's a southpaw. Okay. And when we saw Vittori fight the last southpaw in Cesar, was it Ferreira?
Shoeface or one of these guys.
Ferreira is Mutanche. And Mutanche,
crash, go crash.
He hit him with a lot of leg kicks. Southpaw hit him with a lot of kicks. And Roberson's a better kicker than Mutanche.
Oh yeah,
so much better kicker. And again, we're going back to these kicks.
Different style too, but
yeah, but I think that Roberson has proven and shown that in a fight with a southpaw against Kopylev, he won that fight with the same kicks that Mutanche.
Kopylev didn't have an answer for him though.
No, and Vittori
he didn't know how to like block a kick. He was just eating them alive.
When Vittori fought Mutanche, even though he won, he didn't have an answer for the kicks. And I think that Roberson being a better kicker gives him a real weapon. And then again, if he times the counter left, let me finish. He times the counter left well. I'll give the edge on the feet to Roberson. Now let me finish the whole thought. I'll finish the whole thought.
Finish this thought. This thought's driving me crazy.
Vittori, the small cage helps him. Better grappler, better wrestler, better pressure fighter. Could totally take Roberson down. Roberson may not have shown any improvement in his get-up game. And then you got a huge problem. You got Vittori on top of you, and you're just in deep trouble.
Okay. So that, in my opinion, is the more likely scenario. I'm just looking to see what Roberson's takedown defense is. It's 64%. I think that's how it starts striking. His takedown defense is 53. So the problem I have here is that Vittori throws more strikes per minute, and he can grapple. He's not like a world beater on the ground, but Roberson is an ex-kickboxer, and he looks super sharp, super crisp. He hits hard. He busted Kopylev's legs up. Looks great. It's not a kickboxing match, though. And if Vittori and his coaches are not intelligent all the time. If they're smart, they're going to say, hey, Marv, guy's a kickboxer. He wants to kick you. Let's take him to the ground. He won't know what to do. Now, if it's...
Grapple him, Marv.
Why'd you grab him?
Grab him, Marv.
He sticks you with that leg. You take him down. We'll see what he does there.
And Marv is a tough son of a bitch because he fought 3 rounds against Izzy, and
decision Izzy.
Don't dox me on this, but I had bet Marv on that fight because I thought that was
you didn't. Did you really?
I did.
No, because I remember we watched the highlight reel of Israel Adesanya before he was in the UFC when he was busting up what's his name?
Dude,
was it like Kevin Eard?
Marv fought so well.
The guy with the blonde hair, black guy with the blonde hair. Kevin Eard.
Marv fought so well in that fight against Izzy.
I mean, he did probably.
He got his ass whooped, but he looked about as
tried to take him down though. Like he was.
Yeah, he kept aggressively coming in, which makes me think that Marv might have a similar game plan here, and he might have a little memory of old Israel Adesanya in the back of his head, and he might be looking to just beat the living shit out of Mr. Kickboxer. Yeah,
all around because it's going to feel similar to him as when he fought Adesanya. because
Mhm.
Carl stands really still, and all of a sudden it's like snap in the leg. It looks like a tree trunk. It'll slam into you. If he takes him down, it's basically just like, are you in your corner smart enough to say we just have to take him down? He's not that good at preventing the takedown. And when he's on his back, he does one of these and just lays there and it tries to wait for the ref to stand him up. You can
Now,
smash this.
yeah, supposedly, he's been training with Corey Anderson. Maybe his wrestling is better, but
Didn't he just get knocked out? I mean, like, but he's not known for his jiu-jitsu either. Like, he's
not
known for having a
jiu-jitsu,
big mouth
wrestling.
and like a big right hand.
Yeah, but
I think that Carl Roberson is awesome to watch again. Like one of these guys who's very technically like impressive to watch. But Marvin is going to come in there, and when he comes in, he throws a flurry. He gets in your face, and then he tries to get the takedown after. If he secures one takedown in a round, he could finish this guy just through a TKO.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yes.
Okay, so we look at all the dogs.
No.
You no.
I thought about
for you.
I thought about it. The problem is that it's basically like the way it would happen is Carl Roberson would kick him in the head and knock him out, and it'd be a one-shot, stone cold Shevchenko. Just guy's dead, and we're waiting for the paramedics to come. That's how it is. That's the only way it happens, because he's not going to batter his legs and win decision, because Vittori will just get closer to him, like punch, and take him down. Yeah. I hope to God. Again, Marvin, you coaches, you boys, please just take him down immediately. And I don't care what you do with him once he's there. Just get him down. He'll turtle. That's the way. I don't think Carl Roberson is going to finish him. He's not going to win a decision. If Carl Roberson wins a decision, Vittori needs to get a job as a bricklayer somewhere and just get out of this whole fighting game, because this fight was meant for him.
Yeah, Marv's a good fighter. I like Marv. He's made a lot of improvements. I don't know why I keep calling him Marv. Maybe because he called me a fake Italian, so I got that against him. But yeah, did you? That was like one of my favorite press conferences after with Joe Rogan. He just called me a fake Italian. He said, "Diggle sauce, you're a fake Italian." Pretty tough scene for me there. Big L on national TV. But let's put the money where the mouth is. So you're taking Vittori?
Yeah, I'm on Vittori for sure.
Oh, dude, you're gonna hate to see it.
Are you taking Roberson?
I do. I like him.
Nah, doesn't make
in the
sense.
Small cage, it's a stupid idea. The small cage favors.
Sorry,
Vittori.
I gotta cut it short here. I'm taking Jessica Eye. I gotta run. I'm taking Jessica Eye though. I think she's beating Calvillo. I'm sorry to cut it short, but I gotta run. I'll catch up with you guys next time.
All right, that's the card. Bye.